Awesome. We're going to rock it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Monica is about to come on, and she is a savage babe. She's creating amazing things, inspiring people with her podcast, creating an apparel line, super, super cool stuff. So we're going to dive into the interview in just a second. Before that, let's talk about the sponsor message. This is brought to you by the 21-Day Challenge. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a high achiever, if you're a go-getter, and you feel like you're on the hamster wheel of life, you feel like there's some kind of hole, something's missing, you're not quite hitting the mark on your performance, you know you're meant for something more, you know you're meant for greater, and you want to amp up your success. That's a 21-day challenge. You'll get crystal clear on your long-term goals, break them down into bite-sized steps, and you'll have me as your coach holding you accountable every day for 21 days straight. If you are ready for that level of performance and rigor, send me a message, chris@beyourgps.com. And you can find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/th3 Burns. Message me there. Let me know you're interested in the 21-day challenge. I can send you some more details. Next up is the iTunes review of the week. This week, it's by Lauren Mushu. Lauren says, "Great work. I am so impressed. I've yet to listen to all the episodes, but this podcast is gold. Practical, relatable, inspiring, and uplifting. Chris is super committed to his craft. His energy is off the charts. Wonderful. And he's truly magnetic. Highly recommend." Thanks so much, Lauren. I appreciate you. If you want to give us a review, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on the iTunes store and let us know what you love, what you want to see more of, how we can grow, how we can improve, and serve you even better to become your greatest possible self. Okay, we got the one and only Monica Agana, who's about to come on, talking about starting over with the courage to create a life that aligns with your soul. We're going to go super deep, so let's introduce her and then bring her on. Before that, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, be ready to take notes, because this information literally can transform your life if you let it, if you show up, if you apply it, and especially when you continue your journey with us and with these amazing guests like Monica. So stay tuned, keep showing up, keep taking those steps, okay? Let's introduce Monica. We'll bring her on. Monica Agana, founder and co-owner of Savage Babe, shares her struggles of experiencing physical abuse and constant bullying from other children at an early age that lingered with her into adulthood. Through several years of internal work and personal development, she was able to break away from the chains of the past, which led her to start Savage Babe in January of 2018 to help empower other women who felt trapped from being who they truly wanted to be. She filed away her master's degree in mathematics, left her full-time, great-paying job in the corporate world to become a fitness and mindset coach. The host of the Savage Babe podcast, an amazing personal development show for go-getters, and to continue working on growing a brand and movement that meant more than its name at the surface level, to create the first signature and high-quality apparel brand that empowers, inspires, and motivates women to manifest a life that truly means happiness to them. And we're blessed to have her here with us today. Monica, are you ready to rock the house, superstar?
I'm ready to rock it.
We're ready to rock it. I love it. We're going to bring the energy, the fun, the life today. Monica, thank you so much for being here and showing up. And just everything you're creating in the world is inspiring and empowering and uplifting. So you are leaving such a powerful legacy. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you for having me on the show. Like, this is such an honor for me. So I really appreciate it. And I'm really happy to be here to share my message, share what I have to offer, hopefully inspire all of you out there who need some kind of, hope that, things will get better.
Yes.
So yes.
I love it. And you do your own podcast too. So I always love interviewing podcasters. It's fun. It's dynamic. Great conversation. So Monica, we're going to dive right into the theme of the day, which today is, guess what the theme of today is? Do you know what it is, Monica? It's what turns you on, girl. What turns you on? So Monica,
yes.
How do you get turned on? What turns you on? And how has this question showed up in your life?
Oh man, that's a great question, Chris. So what turns me on? Not in a sexual way, but like kindness, passion,
wow,
courage, going forward despite the fear, that shit turns me on. That really drives me. So my past is a dark one. I like you have mentioned, I came from a really hard past. My family was not the best. I mean, it's not that family that you know, they support you and treat you right. Very, you know, they did support me in a different way. So I was physically abused. And this is super hard for me to talk about when I do talk about it, but it has really like helped people find that hope. So I was physically abused for 5 to 6 years of my life growing up. My father physically abused me, talked down on me all the time. And my mom kind of just watched it happen. It was really hard because I felt like I didn't have anybody when I was growing up, especially when I went to the babysitters. All the kids that were at the babysitters would essentially just make fun of me. I was shunned. There was really no one at that time. And I felt very alone, and I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt as if, what's wrong with me? Why am I in this world? I suck. I'm a crappy person. There's something wrong with me. And that's probably why nobody likes me. And that's what I thought for the longest time. I thought that, you know, who I was just not good enough, and it didn't level up to anybody. And so I spent a lot of my years as I grew up trying to make my dad accept me, and trying to make others accept me. I spent a lot of time trying to get super good grades in school. You know, I was that studious student who always wanted to get straight A's and always did her homework and like didn't do anything else but study. And then when I got to college, that's when I really started learning about myself, because I left home mainly. I went to school out of state on purpose because I was trying to get out of the traps of my home life. I couldn't do anything, you know, like I could not hang out with friends more than 2 weekends in a row, or else it was too much hanging out. I couldn't go to parties with friends. I just couldn't be a high school student. I couldn't date. I couldn't do anything. Like I would have boyfriends behind my parents' back. And so it was a lot of sneaking around and, you know, because I felt like, you know, they were just going to hate me for it.
You had to live like a hidden secret life. Like you couldn't really be yourself. You were like on the external, it looked one way, but internally and like behind closed doors in different environments, you were a different person. I'm sure that made you feel like kind of disconnected and like disassociated. Who am I really, you know?
Yes. Yeah. And so, you know, I coped with food and with shopping, and, you know, food and shopping were probably my biggest things in high school and junior high, is just eating a bunch of junk and binging on it and buying a bunch of stuff to make myself feel better in the moment, because I didn't really know how to deal with these emotions that were coming, of just feeling unworthy and feeling like I wasn't good enough for anybody. So yeah, when I got to college, it really opened my eyes. I started noticing those past issues I was dealing, those things that I put under the rug, you know, were coming to the surface. I noticed it in relationships. I was so insecure with myself. I was looking to find somebody that would love me the way I was hoping that, you know, I could find that. And I turned to a lot of crappy relationships. I was promiscuous in my early 20s. Yes, I did sleep around with guys, and I'm not proud to say that, but it was a way that I coped at the time. And the partying on the weekends after, you know, college was over for the weekends, I would party and go crazy.
Well, I want to pause you, because this is great. There's wisdom here. There's gold here for our listeners and the people who are watching, because oftentimes we have a relationship with our parents that we either are exactly like them or we're the exact opposite of them. And I heard you say that with your dad and your parents and your family, you had to kind of sneak around behind their backs being a different person, right? And so what's the energy of that? It's like, I'm withholding who I am. I'm withholding secrets from you. And later on, even when you weren't around them, there's an energy that carried on to your relationships, which you mentioned, hey, with certain relationships, you weren't always upfront and faithful with the same guy, right? Like there's an energy around that. And you noticed that and you said, hey, that's not who I am. That's not what I'm committed to. And you grew out of that phase. And the first thing you had to do was recognize it, was be aware of it. So for the people who are tuning in right now, be aware of what are the patterns that are happening in your life that don't serve you? Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel blocked? Where do you feel overwhelmed? Where do you feel like there's just constant breakdowns, constantly things that aren't going your way? And then look back. When did that start happening? When did you start feeling like that? I'm sure, Monica, you did tons of that work to really get aware of what was going on, those kinds of patterns and energies and beliefs that were going on in your life.
Yes. So like after 5 or 6 years of the same thing, of seeing the same patterns and relationships with, guys, and then relationship with myself, my binge eating, I had a really terrible binge eating episode for 2 years, to the point that I gained 30 pounds in 2 months. Wow. It was that bad. Yeah. And I couldn't stop myself. I would get home and it would just happen. And then I'd start crying, on my bed. But point taken is, after 5 to 6 years of this constant pattern, I noticed there was a pattern because I started looking for answers, and I was trying to figure out, like, how can I just stop being miserable? How can I be happy? So, I use Google, which is a popular one, it seems, that a lot of people use, but it actually kind of helped. I was trying to find answers like, how can I be happy? How can I stop feeling jealous in relationships? How can I stop being insecure? I just couldn't understand all these emotions. And then I started really diving deep into personal development and manifestation of your life, and just surrounding yourself with positive vibes and meditation and journaling. And so for the last 3 years, I've been really working on that, and that has really opened doors for me like none other. I've seen just in the last year and a half, I've seen a transformation in my life, in my energy, in my relationships. Yes. And then my relationship too with my boyfriend is like 100 times better than where we were at before, when I was broken. And so, it's been one hell of a journey. And I can say that, healing is what you have to do to get to that place of happiness, to get to that place of empowerment in your life. You have to heal, but you have to confront those demons. You can't just hide from them. You can't sweep them under the rug. You can't use things to cope. You can't use relationships to cope. You need to see it head on. You need to feel the pain. And yes, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt really bad. And I felt it was painful for me to heal. But after you really start to come out of that, oh my gosh, it's like cloud 9 every single day. I can't explain it.
And I love that. I love that too. And you say healing, you're mentioning confronting the demons, and also another way to say it is to look at what are the beliefs that you have about yourself, what is untrue, what are the unserving beliefs? Do you put yourself down? Do you have habits of self-deprecation, of, self-inflicting pain, or I'm unworthy, etc.? And look back to, where did that all begin? Why am I like this way? What do I want to shift it to? And like processing those traumas, processing the pain, processing the contrast that you experience. And we're all meaning-making machines. So we make meaning in our head, right? When events happen, we make it mean something. So, our parent left us while we were in the store, and we were there left alone, and we didn't know where we were, we didn't know where they were, and we got all scared and all frightened, and we got left alone. And we made that mean. This is me. I got left alone when I was in the store. I made it mean my parents don't care about me, my loved ones. betray me. I can't count on them. I'm unlovable. All this stuff, right?
Yes.
And I had to look back and be willing to peel open those layers and look. And you know what I hear, Monica, and I'm pretty sure you probably hear it too. A lot of people say, I can't remember back that far. I can't remember back till when I was 7 years old or 10 years old or 13 years old. And number one, it's honestly just a sign of mental laziness. If you really look hard enough, you can look and see what were the significant events in your life. Number two, though, a lot of people don't want to look back there. A lot of people don't want to uncover that pain and that difficulty to be able to process it. And they created the story that, I can't remember. And they just keep on going on with their life. But it's a story, and they don't want to open that back up because they closed the chapter on that book, or they closed the book on that chapter or whatever.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. And I realized that, oh gosh, I went to a corporate job right after I graduated from my university with my master's in math, got in the corporate job, got that awesome high-paying job that my dad was really proud, the day I got it, the day I got promoted every year. He was just super proud of me. And that satisfied me in the sense of, yes, I finally made my dad proud of me. But whenever I sat down at that computer desk and I went to work, I dreaded it. I was unhappy. I was miserable. And I said to myself, this can't be life. This can't be what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I can't be living like this. This is unhappy. This is miserable. And then I realized, in order to move forward, I had to confront all those things I was hiding under the rug. I couldn't move forward with my life, and I couldn't create this life that was exceptional for myself unless I actually dealt with things I've been pushing away. So, like you said, we push those things away and just settle and go on about our everyday life. But, I couldn't get past certain things and certain goals. I couldn't reach certain goals because there was always something deeper underneath the surface that was causing me to keep myself from moving forward.
Yeah. And also what I'm sure happened for me, when you set a goal and it's driven by somebody else's desire, when it's driven by somebody else, trying to please someone else, then the why behind that goal, it's never going to drive you enough to the point of completion, or there will be something that gets in the way because it's not a pure intention. You're not truly connected to the why of that big goal that can be scary and intimidating and all these that kind of things. And it could be out of alignment. The goal could not even be what you want, and you're going to the complete opposite target than what your soul wants. And I'm sure you found that out too, and you had to go back and say, hey, what do I really want? What really aligns with me and my soul? And I'm sure that took a lot of courage too.
Yes. Yeah. And that was the big one, Chris, that you said. Alignment was one of the biggest things I learned in my personal development journey. Is nothing's ever going to be right for you unless you are aligned with it. You're never going to be satisfied with the work you do unless it's in alignment with you and who you are. Because if it is, you're going to go and do it with a lot of passion. You're going to go and do it despite how hard it gets, because you love it that much. And that's how much it truly aligns with who you are. And so after I stopped listening to all the opinions of other people, the opinions of my dad, and just what people thought was best for me, and really just focused on what is best for me? What do I feel is best for me? And that's what really created more momentum in my life. That's what helped me push out of my comfort zone. I quit my job. I quit my job last year at the end of May, went full-time in the Savage Babe. And ever since then, Savage Babe has been flourishing crazy. Yeah. And within the first year, we actually even got offered a couple of investors, which is just insane. I didn't know that would ever happen. Ever to me. So I never even knew I would own an apparel brand. Yeah. So and impact hundreds of women, so many women are DMing us, telling us how our brand and our message has changed their life. And that to me is probably the most rewarding part about this, and is the one of the pieces that I don't give up. Like, just hearing that it's helping other people. If I were to just stop Savage Babe right now, I would be letting down so many people who need this. And that's just something I can't do.
Amazing. I hear the passion. You're hearing the feedback from the work that you're doing in the world, the content that you're putting out, the apparel that you're creating, the brand, what you stand for as a company is amazing. And I want to dive into that a little bit and discover, how did you get clear on what this company was going to be? How did you get clear on what is Savage Babe and why you're starting it and how you want to serve these women in the world?
I got clear by really just starting by listening to what was going on in here. I felt what was going on in here, and I put that out into my content. Kept chugging out content to what I felt I was passionate about. I didn't care what Sally over there was passionate about. I didn't care what other brands were doing. I don't care what other apparel brands specifically are doing. I was just like, this is how I want to run my company. This is the message I see, and this is what I'm going to do. And so, we're really different from most apparel companies in that we focus a lot on self-love and mental health and being authentically you. And we're not just here by the apparel. There's more to that than just buying apparel. It's the message behind the apparel. Yes, it's when you wear this, it should make you feel like you're fucking badass. It should make you feel like you can achieve anything, you can do anything, that you can create this life that you really want. And that's what I want when women, even men, we have some men's clothes, but that's what I want when they wear this. It's when they wear this, they just feel like they're fucking Savage Babe. Yes. So excuse all my cursing.
I love it.
Part of my platform too is being authentically you. You curse, then curse. And I've gotten shit for it. But honestly, this is who I am. And this is how I speak. And so if somebody doesn't like it, then that's on them. But I'm just going to keep being who I am because it's been working out for me.
I love it. So in the beginning, you really were great at listening to yourself. For someone who feels out of alignment and with their soul, how can they get back into alignment? How can they listen to themselves to know what their biggest dreams and goals are and to know what's important to them? Like, how did you cultivate that? How can our audience do that?
Yes. So 2 tools that really helped me really hear what was going on inside of myself was meditation and journaling. I would say those were the 2 biggest things that really, really helped me. I started with journaling first because meditation is a little bit more difficult if you're not somebody who is used to doing that. So I did journal for, several years until I started tapping into meditation. When I first did meditation, I was doing a lot of guided meditation, not like blank space or just music, but guided where they tell you exactly what to do, because that allows you to focus a little bit more. And what that does is it builds awareness. It helps you be more aware of what is happening, not just around you, but inside of you. And it helps you just stop and listen for a second and really just feel what's going on inside of you. And so that's a huge one. Was meditation made a breakthrough for me. Journaling helped kind of get me into that, but meditation, I would say, was the one that really helped me just hear, what's going on inside of my soul and how can I align to that? And with journaling, it helps me organize kind of my goals and my thoughts and helps me figure out, okay, so I have 2 different things that I'm going back and forth between on. And so when I journal about, those pros and the cons, and I kind of tap into what's going on in here, that also gives me a little bit of insight and awareness.
You can ask, like, which one feels better? What do I feel about this opportunity? Okay, what do I feel about that opportunity? So it's like journaling and meditation give you the opportunity to be aware, to be present to the sensations, to the truth, to your truth, to your inner voice, your higher self attempting to speak through to you. Because, like, all at once, it can be kind of overwhelming when you sit with it, when you process the feelings, the thoughts, the emotions, the beliefs. That's when you can really start to get clear on what keeps coming up. What do I feel like I resonate the most with?
Exactly. Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful.
yes. So those would be the two biggest tips I would say is, start with that. If meditation's too hard right now, just journal. Just journal when you can. Yeah. I do this every morning. I think it's super important to start your morning with those two tools because it's going to really set the rest of the day right, usually. Yes. It, for the most part, always sets the day right. And that, another thing that I do to help take care of myself is I move a little bit every day. So I hike about 2 to 3 times a week for about 30 to 40 minutes. And then the days I don't hike, I am at the gym and I do, 45 to 1 hour gym session. But I think it's super important to move your body. It's a form of self-love and self-care, which is a huge message on the Savage Babe platform, is to take care of yourself because you can't take care of other people unless you are taken care of. And speaking to yourself as well, how you speak to yourself is super important too. Yeah. So stop saying negative things to yourself, that you're fat, that you're ugly, that you can't do this, you can't do that. You need to own it. Just be you and have confidence and speak to yourself nicely because that's the most important thing. I realized when I grew up, it was after all that stuff that happened growing up and people not giving me that affirmation that I was looking for, I realized that I didn't need it from anybody else. I just needed to tell myself that I was good enough, that I'm worthy and that I'm beautiful and that I'm strong and capable. And that's all that really matters if you think about it. Yeah.
It's really filling up your own cup by shifting what's the tape that keeps playing in your mind. It doesn't matter how many times other people tell you you're awesome, you're worthy, you're wonderful, you're amazing. If that internal tape is what you go to sleep with at night, and at the end of the day, you are the only one who you have, that's at the end of your life. Nobody else is going to be there guaranteed except for you. You stick with you for the rest of your life. So the question is, how do you treat yourself? How do you speak to yourself? How do you talk about yourself? If you're not doing that in an empowering way, then that's going to show up in your life. It's going to show up in self-sabotage. It's going to show up in your relationships, the type of relationships that you attract, and just not being happy and fulfilled.
I completely agree with that. Yes. So if I coach as well, and I work with people who are stuck, and fitness and mindset wise, and then also the women in my community, and the new members of my community in the Savage Babe group, I noticed that a lot of people want to do all these things. They have all these goals, but I want you to ask yourself, what's stopping you? Life is so short. We don't have an infinite amount of time to be here. So if there's something that you want to do, the worst case scenario, it doesn't work. So what? Life goes on and you can start over. You can try again, and it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to kill you. But what can kill you is maybe the stress and anxiety that you go through every single day, the unhappiness that you go through every single day. That will kill you faster than anything else. So you better just do what you want to do and be happy. So that's my biggest advice for everybody out there.
That's right. I love it. So in terms of getting your message out there, like how did you know that you were meant to be a leader, a visionary, a catalyst as the voice of Savage Babe? Like, how did you know that was your calling, that you had to step up and be that voice, that face, so to speak, of Savage Babe and getting the brand out there?
Gosh, that's a great question and a really hard one. I knew that I wanted to make a difference someday. I knew that I was always trying to figure out how to make a difference and how to help people, but I could never really figure it out or get it right. One day I just laid on my bed and I was like, maybe I should start an apparel brand and I can help women with it. I literally did. I sat in my bed and I was coming up with all sorts of different names, and Savage Babe was one of the names that I came up with. And I kid you not, this was all done in my brain. I was not writing this out. I was laying in bed and I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to start. And I don't have a business degree. I don't have any knowledge of business. Growing up, I was so scared of selling anything, even like lemonade. So I was like, this is crazy. I can't believe I'm doing this. And then, here we are now. It's insane. Yes. So anything's possible. I can say that for sure.
That's right, 100%. So what would you say to a woman who's feeling like she has tried everything? She's tried personal development. She's tried listening to audiobooks. She's tried the reading, the meditation, the fitness, listening to podcasts. She feels like she's so exhausted and tried everything, and she's still not feeling like she's making progress. She feels like she's stuck. She's overwhelmed. She's lost. What can you tell her?
I can tell her not to give up, to keep going, to keep trying. It's hard. Let me tell you, I spent 26 years trying to figure it out. I didn't even know who I was my early childhood, because when you undergo physical abuse at such an early age, you never really get to know who you are. So 26 years of being lost, I wanted to give up. There were many times I wanted to kill myself. I'm just going to admit that. There were many times I just didn't understand why I was alive. And the point is, don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep going. Keep surrounding yourself with positive people, positive things. Unfollow anything that is not serving you. Unfollow negative bullshit. Yeah. Just surround yourself with as much love and compassion and good people, and keep on working on that personal development. One day it's gonna click, and you can't lose hope and you can't give up. You just have to keep going, because it's gonna happen. And that's for everything. Everybody's time is different. Yeah. And I believe in the universe timing. There's a divine timing for everything. Yep. So maybe it's just not time right now. Maybe it's waiting for you, because there's going to be something bigger in the horizon for you. Yeah,
I love it. Monica, you mentioned earlier that you had people who were willing to invest in your company. What is it about you and Savage Babe that makes you investable, that makes you attractive, that makes you magnetic to those kinds of opportunities?
I think the biggest thing is just showing up and being who I am. I went to a live event last year called Pays to Be Brave, and the hugest takeaway that I got from that was being unapologetically you, being raw with people, telling your story, being yourself, and not hiding that stuff. As soon as I did that, God, the doors were like, well, bam!
Well, bam!
Yes. People love real human beings. They love knowing that other people are going through it. Even people successful people. So it gives people hope. And then not just that, is being yourself allows people to be able to open up to you as well. When people can open up to you and share their story, that helps them a lot more than you realize. So for all those, maybe who are starting a business and are on the side of maybe struggling a little bit or trying to figure out how can I connect with my audience, just be yourself, show up every single day. That's what I do. I show up every single day, even the days when I don't feel like it, even the days when I'm tired, when I'm not in a good frame of mind. I show up. Maybe not always at the same level or the same amount, but I still try to be there and I tell my story. Even on the days if I am feeling like kind of crappy, I will tell my audience that I'm kind of having a crappy day. And people like knowing that you're real and you're a human. So that's the best way to really connect, to show people who you are, because it allows them to understand, like, hey, am I going to vibe with this brand or not? Am I going to vibe with this person or not? And that's how to build a really good tribe as well. Yes. And so that's what I think is why people like our brand, is just because we're real. So yes.
I love it. And I'm curious because you're going to be helping out Petya Kolibova's event, the Meant for More event, and you're going to be there. I'm going to be emceeing. You're going to be there. I think you're going to be putting together some swag bags, helping with that stuff, and booklets and stuff. So, thank you for doing that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to meeting up in person, going on some hikes and stuff too. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a blast. And I'm curious, how has influencer reaching out and connecting and relationships been a part of your journey? Influencer, successful people with followings, different stuff like that, and other brands. Like, how has that been a part of you getting to where you are today?
Yes, collaborating and networking with other like-minded people, that's really helped because we've been able to support each other, whether it's a giveaway or whether it's a podcast or anything of that sort. It's when you work with other people and help each other out, you rise together. And so that's really been nice as well. And we ask people locally in Boise, Idaho, do you want to volunteer to model for our clothing for our next launch? And that allows people to, get nice pictures wearing cute clothes on their own Instagram. Yes. That also allows us to be promoted as well because they're sharing that. So there's different things you can do, but I think a huge and a fun way to grow your brand and your business is to work with others and work with others who are doing the same thing, who have a similar message. That's just probably, I would say, my most favorite organic way of growing.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's so essential today. We live in this world of cooperation, right? There's so many people with different opportunities, different voices, different messages, and to think that ours is the only one that matters or that we want to promote is silly, is foolish. There's more than enough opportunity, more than enough to go around. There's plenty of abundance, and we can practically create money, right? There's so many opportunities, and I think that's something we really model and exemplify here with the 12-hour marathon, having so many guests come on sharing their message so that you can get that out to our audience, so that you can connect with each other's audiences, because there's other guests who invite their guests to their audience to the podcast and to the show. So it's amazing, this spirit of cooperation and harmony and community that we have today. And Monica, I'm wondering, what if you set out this year and had your best year ever, and you come into 2020 having your best year ever, what would you have accomplished? What would be meaningful for you to get done over the next year or so that you'd be super proud of, you'd be celebrating, you'd be alive and full of joy and achievement and accomplishment? What would that be for you to accomplish in the next year?
Gosh, man, lots. Of course, still impacting more and more women's lives.
Yes.
But probably even making a living out of this, because right now, we're still in the hole. I'm going to be honest with you. We are still in the hole.
Bootstrapping. Startup.
Yes, we are bootstrapping. Yes, startup life. So being able to just be able to live off doing what we love, which, we're still doing it. We're doing it right now. But being able to pay ourselves to do it would be awesome. And that'd be a celebration, because it'll be the day I finally can say, I'm getting paid to do what I love to do, But I can't, honestly, I'm already happy now. So it's really hard to even talk about what would be a huge celebration, because I feel like every day I'm just celebrating already what I have.
That's right. And that's the beautiful part of it, because that's what's going to bring huge results and continue to bring huge results, and people tuning into the show, wanting to share the brand, when you're already living your passion and your purpose. And hey, the money, it's coming. Like we know it's coming, right? That's how it was when we first started the marathon. It's like, I'll do this every day. I don't care. Don't pay me anything. I'm just gonna keep doing it because I love it, because I help getting people's message out there. And of course, over time, you find ways to make it sustainable. You put the systems in place. You put the value delivery in place. You learn how to convert someone from just a listener into a paying member of your community, or into coaching, different things like that. So I really, really love that. That's your growth. That's where you're going. And Monica, you totally deserve to live off of this, to have so much freedom, so much joy and fulfillment, living your purpose, serving these women, building the community, and getting the content and the inspiration and the gear, the apparel out there. It's really amazing what you're doing. And I'm curious, who would you need to become to achieve that goal? What do you see is your personal gap, your personal growth edge? Who would you become to have it all, to have all the results manifest over the next year?
Yes, the biggest one that comes to mind, that is the hardest one for me, is giving up tasks to other people. That good old saying my friend was telling me the other day, if you want it done right, do it yourself. But honestly, if you're trying to grow a huge thing, you can't do it all yourself. You do need help, and you have to outsource. And that's going to be the biggest and hardest part for me, is letting myself, trusting that I picked the right people to do the work. So that's where I'm headed. If I get accepted for this funding, that is what I'm after, is outsourcing stuff and trying to find the right people to do it.
I think you said when you get accepted for this funding, when the resources come in, it will be even better. And I'm curious, what's it like? Let's put yourself in that place, right? Let's manifest, let's create. What's it like now that you are delegating effectively, you have an amazing team who's taking care of the tasks that you need them to, and you're able to stay in your genius zone? What's that like for you, Monica?
Yes, lots of content creation. I love creating content. Inspirational, my copy I never like to post anything unless I have something good to say. So I like to sit down and be in my zone of genius and really come up with really good stuff that helps somebody. I like to do a lot of stuff in my Instagram stories, and I, do a podcast release at least once every week. So maybe upping that to 2 times a week if I can outsource that as well. But basically, my zone of genius is creating, building, being imaginative. And I actually have an art minor, so it kind of is nice, because I'm like, yes, I get to use my art minor for kind of something.
Yeah, I love
Yes.
it. I love it. And do you know the positions that you would need to delegate to? And we can like start calling those people into your reality right now. One of the best things I love about having a show, a podcast, is I get to create on the podcast. And I don't know if you know this, but I literally created the woman of my dreams, Petya. I created her through talking about her on the 12-hour marathon for like a year and a half before I ever met her, right? Like I was saying, this woman, the woman of my dreams, oh my gosh, we're going to all these places, we're going to personal development events together, we're learning and growing together, we go dancing together, we're singing together. She's this, European woman, speaks multiple languages, she's beautiful, she has a radiant smile, all these, right? Like I was talking about this woman. I got clear on her first, I got crystal clear on her, and I started speaking her into existence on my podcast. So I love to share that with you because you have your podcast, and anything that you want to create, you act as if it's already in existence. You act as if you're already having it now. And with this team, you can really say, who is the person? Is it a, more of like a virtual assistant who organizes the information and publishes it out? Is it, someone who takes the content and transcribes it and repurposes it and makes the most out of it, takes a video, puts it into audio, puts it into text, puts it into a blog post, all that, right? There's so many different things. So I want you to be aware that when you have an opportunity, when you're on a public setting, so to speak. I mean, this is Facebook. It's still technically private. And when you have that opportunity to speak something into existence, it's a lot more amplified and powerful. So one, for anyone listening or watching, be aware of your words, be careful, choose your words wisely. And you also know that when you're doing a live video, when you're on a broadcast, whatever it might be, you get to say, I'm creating this. I'm throwing my hat over the wall. This is what I'm doing, and you get to attract that. So, Monica, how about for you? What's the person that you're looking for? And I'm sure just talking about this is going to be attracting this person into your life even faster.
Yes. So as far as a podcast editor, correct? Is that right? Yes, yep. Podcast editor. So somebody that can really clean up the audio, help us with tech on the side, make sure our setup's all good. Yeah. They can be remote. It doesn't have to be a local person. They can be remote. Somebody who's going to put together our intro and outro and maybe come up with new fun ideas of how to overlay music as well onto the intros or suggest anything that they have. Because, I'm always trying to make things get better. So if
That's right.
Somebody can just give me some advice, that would really help. Also, somebody who will write my copy for my podcast shows and schedule it and make sure everything's getting scheduled out week to week, that it's properly scheduled out. I can rely on this person. I don't have to keep micromanage them or anything because I don't like being micromanaged. So I don't want to have to micromanage anyone. And then, yes, repurposing my content. If they could build me out a YouTube channel and put all my podcast interviews on there and then make me little clippets for my Instagram stories, my Instagram posts. Yes. So all that I am, if you are out there, let me know.
Yes. I love it. I love it, Monica. It's super cool because you also talk about, manifestation and law of attraction and energy. Like that's the world you're in as well. So I'm curious, how has understanding spirituality and that whole side of reality, how has that played a role in your journey too?
It's just I don't know. It just works. Honestly, it's the spirituality part is, it's almost like, religion. It's that thing you got to believe in and have faith in, even if you can't see it. You just have to trust that it's working in your favor and that the universe is aligning everything just right for you. Even the times when you expect something to happen and it doesn't happen, you have to just trust that it is part of the timing. It's part of the process. And when it comes, it'll come. And if it doesn't come, it's because something else was meant to come. Yeah. So that's a huge one, just because, I don't know, I feel as humans, we all need a little bit of hope. And I used to be religious. I was born Catholic. I was baptized in the Philippines. I'm no longer Catholic anymore, or really religious at all. I just believe in being a good person, helping others, not killing anybody, of course, just being good, having good morals. And for me, the universe and manifestation and all that is what I go by. It's my hope. It's what I follow, and it makes sense to me.
That's right.
Just because of everything else that's been lining up in my life. So
I love it. I love it, Monica. So wrapping this conversation up, what are the final things you want the women especially, and all of our audience out there who's listening right now, what do you want them to really get from this interview and take action on because of their time with us?
Yes, like I mentioned before, Chris, and everybody out there, if there is something pulling at your heart that you really want to do, and you're too afraid, fear it gets in the way. It makes us paralyzed, and it doesn't want us to do anything. But you need to get past that and have the courage to start over. Have the courage to go after what you want, because there is no better time than now. Like I said, life is short. Like, you don't know if tomorrow is going to come. And I know that sounds cliche, but you don't. We don't know if I had a high school friend. He passed away a couple weeks ago out of nowhere, and you would have never thought. So you just have to live in this moment, align with who you are. Don't be afraid. Even if you are afraid, just go, and despite the fear, be yourself. Trust that the universe is aligning with you, and that it has your back. And just go. So, I did it. You can too. I promise you.
100%. I love it, Monica. So what can people look forward to coming up from you? Anything you got big plan that people in our audience should know about coming up?
Yes, we have our next apparel launch called the Storm Collection, and that's actually launching in 2 days, March 1st. Yes, and so you can find us www.savagebabecollection.com. That's where you can pre-order our new apparel. It's already on there for you to order, and we ship on March 1st. So cute stuff. We got yoga pants. We got crop tops. And if you don't want any of those, we have other stuff too as well. We have hats. We have hoodies. We have tank tops, t-shirts. So we have the whole spiel, and we're only going to have more. And our next launch after that would be summertime. So about July is when we will come out with the next one.
That's amazing. So they can find you on savagebabecollection.com, right? And they can also find your Instagram at savagebabecollection. They can see more of your designs and apparel and the type of people who you do photo shoots with, and the amazing models and the amazing work that you're doing. And also, I'm sure, contact you if they wanted to get involved, however that might be. If they want to order different things, go do it, ladies and gentlemen. Go support Monica, support this cause. She's doing amazing things, standing up for women, empowering them, inspiring, uplifting them, and you're doing amazing work in the world, Monica. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. You as well. You're killing it. And this is awesome. This 12-hour marathon stream, dang, look at you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Honestly,
Thank
yes.
you.
Thank you again. And feel free to DM me. I'm on Instagram all the time. That's literally like my job. So yeah. And it's no shame, shameless. I love being on there. So if you ever want to chat or reach out to me or just talk, like I am super friendly. I promise I don't bite. I feel like some people think I bite, but I promise I'm savage, but I'm also sweet.
You might have to change the handle to Savage and Sweet, babe.
Right? We just came out with a crop top that says sweet, sassy, and savage.
I love it. I love it so much. Awesome. Monica, you're amazing. I'll see you very soon. Keep up the great work, okay?
Yes, I'll see you soon. Bye, Chris. Thank you so much, and bye, everybody.
All right. Take care.